Hi, I'm Levi Weaver. I am here with new Rangers manager Bruce Bochy, who has come out of retirement to, as you said earlier, hopefully lead the Rangers to a World Series. Bruce, what was the moment where you realized you wanted to come back to managing?
Levi, I'd say when Chris Young, our general manager, he came out, flew out to Nashville, and we talked for about 7 hours. And because I really didn't know, I knew I missed it. A lot about the game I missed, but still, I just said, man, for this to happen, it's got to be a place I'm going to be comfortable. It's going to have to be the right fit. Well, after talking to him for 7 hours, I told my wife, I said, I'm not going to have a better situation than this. And that's when I knew I wanted to get back in the dugout, and have another chance at a run.
You're taking a roster that has seen a lot of improvements over the last couple of years. After a long stretch of subtraction, they're on the way up. The team recently signed Jacob deGrom. Can you kind of give us an overview of how you see the roster right now, and maybe what pieces you still think you could stand to add before the season starts?
Yeah, well, as I look at the roster, and I said this earlier, it's not like we have a lot of holes. If you look at the infield, I mean, we're pretty solid across the infield. I mean, we could have every infielder win a Silver Slugger. That's pretty impressive when you look at including the young kid Young at third base. But with Corey Marcus, of course, Nathaniel just won one, and Jonah Heim. I mean, what he did last year was pretty impressive. So it's kind of a breakout year for him. Then Garcia in right field, it's impressive, and Tavares can go get him. So I think if you look at on the field, you know, we could be looking for maybe another outfielder somewhere to help out there. Maybe provide some length in our lineup. Another bat. As far as the pitching, we've gotten two starters now, and we could still be looking to improve there. I'm not saying we are, but I think CY, you talk to him, he's never going to stop trying to improve his ball club. And, we got some nice pieces in the bullpen that we can put together, but still want to add a couple more. Um, so I think you look at pitching, still going to be a priority. Possibly another bat. You don't know, but I'm still working on the staff. I should mention them. With Maddox there, that really filled a big hole. I was really happy that we were able to get him back in the dugout because he was thinking about stepping down, and so that excites me.
When I talk to managers in the past, from their first managerial job to their second, they go, I learned a big lesson in that first job that I took with me to the second. This is now your third major league team. Is there anything that you take from those first two that now with the Rangers you go, I'm gonna tweak this and do this a little differently, or is it more a case of like, hey, this worked for me in San Diego, it worked for me in San Francisco, I'm gonna stick with what I know?
Well, I think you look at what works and then stick with most of that. I mean, if it's gone well for you, whether it's how you're dealing with players or how you're running fundamentals, things like that. But you know what? And you never arrive in this game. I'm still growing. I want to get better, and that's never going to stop. Hey, things have changed, rules have changed, things like that. So I need to adjust, and so it's the continuous learning thing that never stops. And for me, early in my years, I try to do it all myself. It took me a while to learn to delegate, and hey, you hire these coaches to do a job, you got to let them do it. And I've gotten so much better with that. And but it's all about listening too. I don't care if you're the one making the decisions, a leader. You still want to listen to players, listen to your staff, listen analytics, whoever it is, because we're all working together. And so I'd like to stay open minded.
I'm glad you mentioned the rule change. This is the last one from me, but not just the changes that are coming next season, but since you retired, they've also instituted the 3 batter minimum for relief pitchers. You are known for your bullpen mastery. How does this change your strategy at all, or have
Yeah.
you what thoughts have you given to that rule?
Oh, it's changed the strategy. Just give you an example. I had Javi Lopez. Javi wasn't a guy that would leave out there for 3 batters sometimes. Sometimes I would, depending what the situation was. But you know, I can't say I totally agree with some of them, but it doesn't matter. I got to make them work, and it is part of the game. Just like now this year, it's a throwing over. That's a big adjustment, you know. And which, you know what, I really don't mind, because I think it got abused sometimes. Managers will use it to give their pitcher time to warm up in the bullpen, and I didn't think that was right. So some of them I'm good with, but you know, it's up to me again to adjust, know them, and also go back and see, you know, what worked in the minor leagues for these guys, because they had to deal with it. I've talked to a couple minor league managers already, just how they dealt with throwing over. You only get 2 times to step off or throw over, you know, because you know you get in a box there a little bit, and I enjoyed my conversations when we talked about it.
Bruce, thank you for your time. If we don't see you before, we'll see you in Surprise.
All right, Levi, good to see you. Thanks.